Were you really in jail, Mr. Max? And you were our vicar?
Yes, but as I've repeatedly said, I was assigned there as a vicar. I was not a prisoner.
I just can't believe you'd lie.
I was not lying. It had no bearing on my ability to minister to my flock, and was therefore not worth mentioning. Nice hit! I was not lying. It had no bearing on my ability to minister to my flock, and was therefore not worth mentioning. This town must have looked mighty grand when it was built.
I would have liked to see this place. Before it was all boarded up. I bet it lit up the night.
This should be fun.
I guess this is what Edgewater's gonna look like in a couple of years.
Never had much of a sweet tooth myself. Indulgences like Rizzo's were frowned upon in my household.
Inside voices.
That's the last of them.
Hear that?
That's the last of them!
Huh?
Watch out, Captain!
Aren't those cakes just about the cutest little things you ever seen?
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. Most people... Besides, this place... Where should I begin? With the oversized mantisaurs? Or perhaps the rats spewing acid at our walls? The board was right. This place isn't fit for human habitation, and I was a fool for staying. That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back, before the board tucked tail and ran. These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Here's a menu.
Oh, yikes. I can't cover this much, Captain. What? No, Captain, I don't want you to do it this way.
It's all right, miss. I'm a coward at heart. Made that clear from the outset. Look, Captain, this is the best I can do without putting myself out of business. I'm mighty glad you reckon so. This is gonna take about an hour in the oven. Nothing I can do to speed it. That's just how cooking works. There we are. Now, if you don't mind, I really need to take a leak.
My belly's gurgling just to smell it, Mr. Raymond. Thank you so much.
A pleasure to help such a charming young lady. You're a gentle soul, miss. Be careful with this one, all right? She's kind of a brute.
Oh, gosh. My tum's rumbling just smelling that casserole.
I see you stuck around. Only every day. But in case you haven't noticed, we don't exactly get ships on a and even if I did scrape together enough to buy passage out with sublight, which would mean reaching Fallbrook without getting eaten, shot, or dissolved into green goop, what then? Nothing, that's what. Because MSI is not in what you'd call good standing with the board. So even if I could get out of here, no one's gonna hire me. Even talking about it as my blood pressure.
The dustback casserole Mr. Raymond made smells incredible. Oh, I kind of want to take a little taste. But I'm gonna be strong. Now look how cute these cakes from Cascadia are. Someone even traced little hearts in them. I guess that settles dinner. Thanks for hauling me all over creation, Captain. Well, I was gonna, but then it hit me. I got this nice meal all planned out with music, and I got that soap to scrub up with, but I don't got nothing nice to wear, Captain. Maybe you're right, and I'm stalling a bit. But maybe I also need to, so as I can work... There's this place I heard of in Byzantium. Joliker's Haberdashery. I bet I could find something nigh on perfect. Thanks, Captain. I know I've been asking a lot. But you...
Yes, you caught me ruminating again. What's occupied?
Seems like a nice little town. Except for all the dead critters.
Damned philosophists.
Hey, Captain. I need your help. and we ought to keep it hush-hush. You know about what happened here, right? The history of Amber Heights?
I heard about that back in the day. Something about pirates massacring the town?
Right. Common belief is that the pirates fled to an old relay station that had already been abandoned, but nobody could find them. The station's locked up, but one of my people found an old data cartridge in a nearby raft nest. It's mostly corrupted, but I pulled a couple codes off of it. One is the code to the Amber Heights gate. I don't recognize the other, but it's similar. I bet it opens a door. Right. The access codes to Amber Heights. What gets me, if someone gave them the gate code, all those deaths cap... I know it's a long shot, but if we miss something there, if you can get into that... Just a warning. The area is infested with mantisaurs. I'd sense... Appreciate it. Here's the code. If it works, bring back anything you find. Supplies are best, but information's good too. If someone was behind the Amber Heights massacre, it'd give a lot of people around here some closure to find out who and string them up. Good luck. Watch out for the Taros.
Skills are unlikely.
Keep him quiet, Cap.
Impressive, as always. damned philosophists.
Everybody here looks wore out. Is it just me?
Welcome back. You find anything out there? Let's see. These are old. Look, this one's got the Amber Heights gate code on it, just like the one I found earlier. And here's a letter. Wait, this is from Graham. Oh, of all the... Captain, he gave them the gate codes. Yeah. I know he's got his head in the clouds, but I always believed there was a... Thank you for bringing this back, but I need some time. Take a walk, Captain. I'll find you once my head's on straight.
And the little bastard's slippery, right? On account of its blood, so it's sliding. Getting so I can't tell the... Don't interrupt, but I gotta get in there. Get right in that baby rap's stomach and dig it out. If so much as a drop of stomach acid got on that medallion, I'd Shit, I don't know what I'd do. Might be I'd hunt it. Right. What are you staring? Wait. You ain't from around here. Ooh, charmer. Don't get a lot of that around here. Folks mostly grump at me about how I should join the MSI payroll. Nice change of pace. Another in a long line of damn... What do you... Well. Let's get down to brass nuts then, shall we? Wait. I'm headed back out there after I sober up. You want a guide sooner than that? You have to get... Outstanding! Our dispensary here maintains a stock. I'm cut off for the month, on account of needing one just about every damn day. But I'm sure you've got your wife. Well, they work. We got a dealer.
Poor Braxton.
I don't want to think about it.
Eaten by cannibals?
I put up with the constant stink of fish because I don't want to think about what's outside those walls.
I know. Just imagine if they fell. It'd be Amber Heights all over again.
That's it. You owe me your month's ration of Debillerol.
Hello, dearie. Why, I don't believe I've seen you before. What can Auntie Abigail do for you? And what a helpful young lady you are. Nothing. Who's your lucky friend? Oh, it's none of my business. But I have told her Dr. Williams would bump up her monthly allotment if only she'd join MSI. Contribute like the rest of us. Now I've gone and said too much. And you know me, dearie. I don't. Dr. Williams managed the town's allotments from his terminal upstairs. Even I... Oh, you flatter an old woman. Me, I'm just here to be a pretty face for the customers. And to keep an extra key to the supply room for all the times Dr. Williams misplaced his. The one upstairs, where we store our medicines. Well, this certainly isn't worth my good health. I'll get you a dose, but I'll have you know, I'm very there, and good riddance. That's the last help you're getting from Abigail Edwards. I have nothing more to say to you, young lady.
Ah, the charmer. All of the... More or less dangerous than a steady supply of alcohol. Give it here. Great. Oh, Hiram? I ain't checked in on that man in an age. He's running the giant radio tower we lovingly call Devil's Peak. We'll be going south and west, mostly along the road till we're past Fallbrook. Out there's a western slope that'll lead us through some fun. You like hunting, right? That's fun. If you're more of a spelunker, Rotting River will take you into the mountain caverns. We can discuss options when we get closer. That said, 3's already a crowd. I don't mind waiting somewhere until you got a spot open.
I hope you like being part of our crew, Nyoka. So you keep Monarch safe, huh? That's real honorable work, Miss Mioka.
Oh, no. Monarch ain't safe, even with me around. I've just got intimate knowledge of its dangers and an abundance of fortitude. Folks hire me because I know what you can shoot and what you ought to run from. That's a mistake you only get to make once.
You ever been off Monarch, Mioka? Before you met the captain, I mean.
Nah, I mostly just drank and hunted. Soon as you stop to dream of other things, that'll be the day something sneaks up and eats you.
Don't fret. I'm watching your back now. Anything tries to eat us, I'll give it a mighty whack on the nose.
Well, I'll be damned. You watch my back, I'll watch yours.
Hello, stranger. Can I interest you in Raptidon tongue? Or maybe some canid toenails? You look like a woman who's looking for some mostly fresh animal parts.
Sebastian, you ever get your hands on those pheromone sacs? Manipillars ain't gonna hunt themselves, you know.
I must have hunted a dozen, but I couldn't find a single sack on any of them. You must be looking in the wrong place.
Manipillars ain't got pheromone sacs.
At least I'm getting a good haul of claws in the process. You're in good hands, traveling with Monarch's top merc. Still, if you want any rat glands or manticlaws... Huh. I haven't seen her in a few days, but I've been meaning to ask her how that Raptidon acid is working out. I hope it's working okay, because no one else really seems interested in this stuff. Wait, I see what's going on. She put you up to this so she could get a discount, hmm?
Oh, no, that's not it at all. She's smitten with you. You smited her. Smote? Smoot?
Don't get me wrong. I'd like to give her a discount. She's a real fine lady. Always talks nice and slow, so I understand. But if I give her one, I won't hardly make a bit, on account of no one else having any use for Raptidon tongues. You sound pretty sure. And she is.
Give her a chance. Give yourself a chance.
Okay, I'll do it. Once her shift ends, we'll go someplace nice. Maybe to Chef Raymond's.
That's the spirit, Sebastian. Be yourself. Between you and me, Captain, I'm not sure Miss Celia knows him too well. But we can hope, right? I want them to be happy.
Aha, the helpful stranger I've heard so much about. Here to do business, hmm? Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me. Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Noted.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now, who's... out at Devil's Peak? If you're headed that far, I see you've brought the right one.
Damn right.
But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you aren't here for Saltuna. Oh, a shame. I'd been saving a bottle of iceberg-aged whiskey.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr.
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but... thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now.
So-called is right. We've got our hazards, but we're still here, damn it. The board took off without so much as a thought for the folks left behind.
I don't... Dang it, Captain, that's not right. Folks on Monarch shouldn't have to suffer just because the board says so.
Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious. Yes, freedom is a tempting ideal, but a rather costly paramour.
Indeed. Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
But will that help the people here, Mr. Sanjar? Keep them fed and safe?
That's precisely what I'm trying to do.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent... The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves...
And a Mantisaur problem.
Many, many problems, but if you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance. I'll need to gather some supplemental materials.
You do tend...
The Bolt 52 will be in the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. And these days, it's overrun with marauders and raptidons. Saying what? Which way? That's just what it's called. It's supposed to stand for something, but I forget what. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. What can I see. And was his... Well, that's excellent. I'll see... What else can I do? Then it's good that I keep such meticulous... I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws. Not intentionally. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of terraforming was to make them Earth-like.
Here, though, the results were mixed.
That ain't fair. They didn't leave on account of the hazards. They left on account of their cowardice. The hazards just gave them a reason to put to paper.
Sharp as ever. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, our leadership at the time certainly wanted to. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity, the chance to improve working hours. It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Here, here. That may not be the way the colony works, but it damn well oughta.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet, creating the perfect environment for us to enact. No, they laughed in our faces. and insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along... Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages. I don't think I realized how far they'd stoop. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently. Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Yeah, that'd go a long way toward rebuilding our homes.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation. I'm not a man to put pride. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes, it'll be easier to explain once we have the Bolt 52. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations.
It's straight bullshit is what it is. A fabrication rich folks use to preserve their investments, by leaving a lot of people here to die slow.
Nyoka has the right of it. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
But wait, what happens to the folks stuck on the wrong side of dangerous?
I'm afraid the welfare of a few hundred people is too minor a figure into the board's risk assessments. Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way. What can I do for...
Have you talked to Sebastian yet? Okay, but how did he say it? Did he sound excited? Or like he was just agreeing to it? Was he like, yay, a date with Celia. I've secretly been waiting for this. Or was it more, sure, I don't have anything else going on. Not to worry. If I never buy... look at me going on. I'm sure you've got other things to do, and Mr. Nandi's giving me that back-to-work look. Anyhow. As you were.
What was it like in Edgewater? I hear you workers were on the clock every available moment.
We always got 8 hours a day for sleeping. Just not always consecutive.
My condolences. I appreciate consistent wages like any other sane person, but that still sounds awful. At least Sanjar gives his folks weekends.
Weekends?
Hand to the void. I used to drop by the bar in Stellar Bay to knock a few back with the folks who had Saturdays off.
Don't know what I'd have done with that much time. I was always behind schedule anyhow.
Knowing you, you'd sit and be alone with your thoughts.
Well, well. The only new folk I ever see in town are sublight runners from Fallbrook. But you don't look like one of Catherine's. What can I get you?
Here to catch a game? I'm afraid the transmission... What can I do? Poor Isaac. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet... I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay getting rowdy over tossball games. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble with one of them. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can do.
Velma seem out of sorts too?
She's always cranky.
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth, going about our lives. What are you talking about?
Who the fuck are you? This ain't your alley.
Hey, what are you doing? Berta already pissed by those crates. Listen, that purple-toothed twerp had it coming. And not that it's any of your business. Well, wait, you're the new sublight partner? You won't see us again, I promise.
Hmm? What do you think of the unreliable Parvati?
There's always something to fix, and it's neat working in the Aether. I always took Atmo for granted. Now, if I drill through the hull, we all suffocate. Exciting, you know?
I'm not sure I wanted to know that. Being in space sets me on edge enough.
You know about stellar emissions? Actually, I probably shouldn't tell you about those. I mean, not unless you want to know how we're all likely to get spacers lung.
Right. Okay. When we get back to the ship, I'm drinking this conversation right out of my recollection.
Well, I see you've had a sobering effect on our friend Nyoka.
Sir, please...
Forgive me, Celia. Anyway, what can I do for you? But that's terrible. What happened? I'm glad to hear you've dealt with them. They've been causing quite a bit of trouble around town. I've been consumed with other matters of late, but I would have dealt with them eventually. Of course. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated. Please consider...
I need to talk to you, Captain. Hey, got a favor. Figure while we're out here in the wilderness anyhow, we might stop in on an old friend of mine. Preferably before we get to Hiram's. It's on the way, don't worry. You don't seem the type to run off and get yourself killed, and I could use the help. I'll be upfront with you. I hate asking for help. I hate it. Every time I give someone the opportunity to disappoint me. But this, what I'm thinking... Nothing I can't... I used to run with a band of hunters. Friends. 6 of us. We were on Monarch when the corporations pulled out, and we helped a lot of people pick up the pieces. I haven't seen 2 of them in years, and the rest I know to be dead. I'd like to gather their effects and bury them all in the same places, like the family we once were. First, we go to Hayes. I buried him a ways from our encampment. I need to pay my respects. I'll show you where he rests. He had a medallion in his effects. That's what I'll bring home to Barry. Then we find my 2 lost trackers and bring them home. A long time ago, we built an encampment in one of Monarch's cave systems. Trouble is, a Mantiqueen showed up and kicked us all out. If we can find Rebecca and Anders, they'll know how to lure her out. Then, we kill the bitch and bury everyone's medallions together. Thanks, Cap.
You hiding! You
Incoming!
scared? Attack! Attack!
I bet nobody set foot in here since Cascadia fell.
Proximity alert. Biology human. Protocol kill all plants. Suspended. Present your Rizzo identification credentials. Attempting to disengage security protocols. Priming weapon. Executive level password accepted. As identification according. Be advised. Mantisaur threat level is petrifying purple berry. Please use caution. Mantisaur wounds are not covered under Rizzo's health policy. Have a productive day.
work.
There we go. Almost done. Whew! let me take a look-see. Okay, I'm thinking if I patch this into our fuel cell network, we can use the empty tanks to hold this ulta-wada-biddle stuff. Just gotta compensate for the pressure difference. We burn liquid reaction mass, not gas, and the cells are distributed all through the hull, so I gotta isolate the empties. Of course I did, Captain. Just gave it a little jiggle. There we are. Good as pretty and twice as new. Oh,
I'm impressed. I would have just tried to blow the thing up. I don't know what it is, but my gun's been acting funny. Used to be, I had to correct for a bit of leftward drag. Got used to standing just so, and after a while, it put a thorn in my side, something awful. Lately, though, it ain't pulling. I find my stance much improved.
Oh, that's real good to hear. It took me a while to... never mind.
What? Girl, have you been touching my stuff?
I'm sorry, I should have asked. I just got real bored, and I seen you leaning, and the gun was sitting right there.
You know, the last time I caught someone messing with my equipment, I threw him in a sulfur pool. But I appreciate the help. You want to make modifications, just come ask me, all right? I ain't gonna bite.
Our fuel cells are now primed with Alta Vitae gas. As the organics say, let us hope we do not explode in transit to the groundbreaker. The groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain. You're free to disembark. We'll be here, Captain. Or will we? Haha. Just a little... joke.
It's almost time for today's episode of The Chairman's Children. Straight to the point, eh? If you're here for the... Want a charming copper kettle off that girl who runs the pub. She's a fierce arm wrestler, but she's no match for your pal Gladys.
I'll keep quiet.
It's almost time. I found a Gracious. I've got a lovely little...
Purple berry flavored power nuggets, now with 12% more crunch. Rizzo's knock you out long. It's time for a KYO.
sour candy shell around a sweet purple berry flavored center.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. Remember Auntie Cleo? Because she remembers you. When you were sick, who took your temperature? When you...
It's always fucking freezing in the bays.
Somebody was trying to fix this up, but looks like they ain't been here in a long while. Poor old sweetie.
What was that?
That's the last of them!
Now, I don't say this lightly, but that is a work of sheer universal beauty.
Rizzo's lemon slap. Slap your whole family tonight.
That gas is going to make us a fucking mint. 120-some cubic meters of it, at 1,000,000 bits a pop. Take this. You've earned it. When we get buyers lined up, I'm gonna buy a gold toilet to shit in. Hey, God, Monarch isn't exactly a walk down the lanes of Byzantium. But here you are with all your limbs attached. Call me impressed, contractor. No one you saw, anyway. Glad to see you're looking. You've been keeping busy. I hear you took on some extra work at Fallbrook. Catherine sounds pleased as a pig in shit over cornering the Borst markets. Hey, when you were at the slaughterhouse, those swine didn't give you any strange looks, did they? Like they were hanging on to your every word, scheming. And when you turned around, maybe they just oinked like innocent. All right, cut the pig shit. I'm probably getting worked up over nothing. Just try not to think about pigs. You never know, you know? I have another job lined up. They're gonna salvage me a space station. Heliospheric Research Station 1084, to be exact. I want it. Cobwebs and all. Interested?
Oh, sure. That sounds like a real easy job.
This opportunity won't come around again, Captain. Right now, it's only salvage on paper. Systems and comms have gone dark. Poke around if you're curious why. While the board lets 1084 gather dust, you're gonna swoop in and plant Sublight's flag. Perfectly legit, perfectly legal. Here, this override bypass should get you into the station's systems where you can plant my flag. And one last thing. When you get there, make sure you aren't followed. We wouldn't want that. I'm on the heels of something big. Play your cards right and I'll clue you in, but just be careful. Someone might...
C&D chicken and potatoes. At C&D, we know our C&D.
We are now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain. No blockade is a match for my piloting skills.
Fate shines on us today.
Rats. Let's clear this sulfur-sodden fucks out so Hayes can rest in peace. Hayes was the best self-sacrificing son of a saint I ever met. Halcyon is worse off without him. Now, if we're gonna lure the Manta Queen out, we'll need to find Rebecca and Anders. They took a UDL contract on Terra 2. We never heard from them again. Think it's time I call in a favor with Hiram. If anyone can track them down, it's him. I don't know much about it. It paid well, so they took it. They said they'd be back in a couple of weeks, and that maybe we could all use the money to get off Monarch. That was a long time ago. I should have. I really... But soon after they left, and to be honest, after him, I stopped trying. Thanks. I'm still not convinced I won't come to regret it, but we've started down this path. Might as well see it through. Maybe it'll stop me screaming at night. Now come on, let's make tracks before Hiram dies. caves back east are safest. We can head up this path if you want to shoot your way through a few nightmares on your way up. Here they come.
Don't mess with us!
And here we are. Told you we'd make it in one piece. Station ain't too far now.
Hey, you! Get over here! There are marauders up ahead!
Wonder if Hiram's home. Just kidding. Oh, no.
This station's under the protection of the corporate compliance... You a marauder? 'Cause me and my sunshine, that's my gun if you were wondering, we don't... A coherent enough response, I reckon. You're clear, but I would caution you against pressing on ahead. This station's plumb I take it you ain't met the other C3s. Me and Sunshine are doing exactly what we've been tasked with. You ought to talk to my crew. They're guarding a small barracks to the southeast, by the edge of the mountain. There is nothing I'd enjoy more, but the C3s play it by the book. Usually. Go petition the boss man. See that path that runs underneath that giant archway? Follow it on down.
Gonna find you! You hide and break you! I'm gonna find
Our survival.
may not realize this, being as you're an outsider, but the blaring alarms indicate the station's on lockdown. Which means you can't ever get to me. So leave already.
Can't? We'll see about that. Here's the elevator. This is on lockdown. Guess we keep moving forward. Look for another way up.
You out there, whoever you are, yes, I can see you. Come here and talk to me. Face to intercom. I can't tell if you're brave or simply touched in the head. What in the galaxy are you doing sniffing around my station? Unless you are, in fact, trying to... And you, Nyoka, what are you doing lugging a stranger into my station?
You could use the socialization, you son of a bitch. Also, she hired me.
To what purpose? I happen to have some significant problems I am dealing with right now. Marauders, running out of purple-berry wine 3 days ago, not being able to bloody broadcast. No. We'll deal with information-related business later. As I said, there are bigger problems threatening my life and livelihood. The Marauders want me dead. And since my hired hands have clearly turned idle, it appears I need you to clear out the threat. As my newest contractor, you may call me the Broker.
Or we can call you Hiram, on account of that's your damn name, and doubly on the account of the Broker being a dumbass alternative.
What? Everyone calls me that, aside from you. You're here, and you're armed, aren't you? The feed's gone grainy, but it looks like... I know Nyoka is. I barricaded the broadcast center, but I can only hold out for so long. Clear the Marauders out, and I'll pay you double the going rate. They destroy the transmission equipment, and I'll be out of business. The elevator and doors to the second floor are back online. Hurry before I have to lock them down again.
That good.
Hey, elevators to your right. Get ready.
Of them, I think.
Marauder free at last. I'll get the door. You hurry on in.
Never thought I'd be ecstatic at having the walls painted in blood, but seeing as it's not mine, I'd say this calls for a celebration. This ought to square our debt. One hefty payment for a highly valued service rendered. But I admit, I do wonder why Nyoka has brought you to me. Allow me to pose my question in another manner. Why, in the nebula, are you here? Ah yes, our little chat on the intercom. You're looking for the premier broker for all of Monarch. Phineas must have sent you. He's the only one insane enough to send someone to Monarch to rush me. I knew it was only a matter of time before he came a-knocking. Look, I might be late, but I fulfill my contracts, always.
Oh, you do you? I have lost track of the number of beers you owe me for chasing raptidons off your stoop.
You said that in a way that was almost believable.
I take offense to that. Look, okay. It might take me a while this time. I am awaiting but a single incoming transmission containing the information we desire. But MSI and the Iconoclasts are clogging the airwaves from Stellar Bay and Amber Heights. In their war against each other, they're scrambling each other's outgoing transmissions. Luckily, however, the Iconoclasts have now gone silent. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Then you've my impressed gratitude. Still, we need to get MSI off the airwaves. I will leave the means to that particular end under your discretion. Exactly what I was thinking. They hurt us all with their pettiness. Which, of course, has inadvertently affected the incoming port and my livelihood. Graham and his iconoclasts believe anarchy is the way of life. Sanjar opposes it, as he's taking strides to corporatize Stellar Bay. No, they're jamming the limited frequencies we have at our disposal. Nothing extraplanetary can get in or out until the frequency pollution thins out. The safest bet is to convince Sanjar and MSI to stop transmitting on their end. You do that, I'll be here, waiting on the receiving end. Luck be with you. I have a feeling you'll be needing a pinch of it, plus a vat of patience. Is that a trick question? Because to answer it, you'd need to pay me. Of course, I could offer you a vastly more interesting bit of data instead. Try me. Ask me anything you... We'll call it an exchange for you. Ask me what you... Not much. Phineas has been in hiding for the past 35 years. He got in touch with Nyoka first, who I use as a physical go-between. As far as what's between us, I mean. Outside of that, well, that's a raptidon of another color. I do know this much. There is a sharper side to the good scientist than you'd expect. If allegations are to be believed, the experiments he conducts for the greater good are in fact treasonous and for self-gain. I am not convinced as to the validity of these allegations, considering the source, but I am also not unconvinced either. Luckily for you, they are a curious lot. Insufferable. Some say Graham suffers from nightmares that leave him sweat. I would assume it stems from the friends and family he lost in Amber Heights, although... You mean between MSI, the Iconoclasts, and myself? I bet neither of those megalomaniacs told you I was the true mastermind behind Monarch. Back when the colony was still Terra 1 and corporations were abandoning us left and right, I'm the one who approached Sanjar and Graham with the means to our salvation. I offered them a legal way to take control of the planet. If MSI were the only corporation here, they could claim sole ownership. Precisely. The other corporations were fleeing because of the hazard clause declaring Terra 1 uninhabitable. But MSI had lagged behind, giving Sanjar and Graham an opportunity. Take over MSI, stay here while... Precisely. Without me, they never would have done more than play Revolution in hushed whispers over scuzzy kale ales in the tavern. Thus, the bargain was struck. They could run MSI while I would operate Devil's Peak Station. Unfortunately, relations have soured over time. Competing ideologies. Graham believes Sanjar has become corrupted by the corporate lifestyle, that he is now similar to the original corporate executives they sought to reform. And Sanjar has learned the hard way that Graham is quite morally gray. Sanjar is not actually at fault for his past performance reviews, but he can keep hunting for loopholes to get back on the board for the next century. He'll never be reinstated. Not in his life. For Nebula's sake, even with the loophole I gave him, he's only in charge of MSI because every other exec died during the massacre at Amber Heights. I gave Sanjar and Graham legal information that would allow MSI to own Terra One once the other corporations had abandoned the planet. The execs had their concerns, but before the matter could be resolved, pirates raided their homes in the night. Luckily for you... What? No. Why would I go out of my way to intercept messages from Earth? There's no market for them. Now, if you wanted me to intercept a certain... There are so many members. If you try to cite me on this, I will deny. Do you understand? What I am about to reveal is the sort of information that gets a body disappeared. MSI's ownership of Monarch is technically legal, but it would give MSI too much power on the board to grant them such status. That the chairman is politically motivated to keep Monarch from being re-recognized as a legal part of the colony, and his actions as a result are highly illegal. And that is all you will get from me regarding such a deadly piece of data. Look. How low you... Oh, great.
I'd normally entertain your self-aggrandizing delusions, but this time...
Important to you is not the same as important to me. Although I do recognize that you may have earned some goodwill during your months laboring for me. Tug on my heart. Look, I'll...
Rebecca Hodges and Anders Wadsworth. They took a UDL contract back when Monarch went to ship, and I need to find them. I believe them to be on Terra 2.
If UDL hired 2 hunters back then, it would have been for creature clearing purposes round one of their Spacer's Choice outposts. These are the coordinates for the outpost under the last UDL contract. Now scram. And, good luck. I may have a secret for you. For the right. Be a doll and shoot any marauders. It's the strangest thing. I still can't receive any incoming off. Why, pray tell, are you standing here then? Don't bother explaining how my business will suffer if you don't...
This merits an apology, Captain. It was my duty to warn you of threats, both physical and otherwise. But I failed to prepare you...
Yes, but you put up with me because I'm a veritable genius. And because I pay... Here, take this if it will incentivize you to work... Sure. You know where to find me.
The repair station is current. Idle. are now in orbit above Edgewater, Captain.
What? What was that?
We got trouble.
Damn, but we're good.
Incoming!
Doing all right! I'd wager this is the outpost. Rebecca! Anders! Come on out! Incoming!
Show them how it's done! I don't think that's working!
Hey, take a gander. The door's busted. Huh. Rebecca taught me this once. You can jerry-rig these old locks, but we've only ever done that if we're in a real bind. Oh no. Oh no. What did you do?
This is an unfortunate sight indeed. My condolences.
I don't... They were... That... Bitch! They were all set to abandon us! What would Clara say, huh? Every day she'd ask if we heard from you. And she'd have forgiven you. Kid had a soul that made the sulfur smell like roses. Ugh. Or to leave your medallions to rot with you, but Clara would want to be buried with her sister. At least I know. Ought to have learned by now that getting one's hopes up tends to open them to being dashed across the stars. I hate to say this, but Clara died thinking her sister was still fighting to get back home. I'm glad. If she were still alive now, break her to know the truth. Yeah, maybe. I'm used to disappointment. She was still so naive as to let it hurt her every time it happened. Only thing left is to take these medallions home, which means figuring out how to bait the Mana Queen out of our old base. The most pissed off I've ever seen a queen was when a foreign species was on her soil. I'd wager the stench of a primal might do the trick. That'd be boring. Half the fun in exploring is the fact that you're on an unknown trail. I've never had the pleasure of hunting primals, but I hear they're all over Scylla. Let's tear a few apart, shall we? I'm sure they've got... That queen ain't gonna go down either. What's up?
We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain.
Hey, Cap.
Hold on to your hats, children. This ride is about to get ugly.
You reckon the smell ever goes away?
Incoming! Nice hit!
Everyone all right?
Incoming! I wonder what secrets these ruins contain.
I wonder who used to live here. We're pretty good at this.
Hello? Hello? I hear boots out there. Oh, thank the Eternal. I'm Huxley. My friends and I were scavenging here, and a Mantiqueen showed up. Then Raptidons. It was a void-blasted mess. I ran in here and, now the door's locked. Little help? It's easier than it sounds, all right? Next time you get chased... Phew. My buddy had a key, but I ain't heard him in a while. He locked me in here and took off. Probably got munched. So look for a dead guy, I guess. Or a rat. Oh!
Ah, phew. Thank you so much. It was getting all stuffy in there, and I was getting a mite lightheaded, and I think maybe I was gonna die. Now I'm out here, and I'm headed back to Amber Heights. But I ain't got nothing on me. Oh, sure, I'm a runner. I'm used to getting all dizzy and... Hey, who... Yes,
Feels like the old bits outside of Edgewater. Used up, unneeded, left to settle into ruin.
I believe this place has seen better days.
Whew. Smells like those old Sundays when we'd unload salt tuna shipments at the cannery.
You should know, you're getting What can I... Oh, yes. I'm going to be up all night with this. All those blanks waiting to be filled.
Try to control...
Have you any idea how powerful this is? Corporations have been taught... What a question! Bureaucratic micromanagement is the only way anything gets done in Halcyon, and proper documentation. For our part, a bill of liquidation/transfer Form 52 will protect our holdings on Monarch by temporarily assigning them to a pass-through entity once we drop our bomb on the board. See, that doesn't even make sense. This is an...
Hardly the point.
I have reason to believe that one of the other corporations is operating...
Mr. Nandi may be correct. If the masses learn that the board disregards their own ordinances, it'd give rise to dissent. MSI could use this information to their advantage.
If we can find proof, I can use that as leverage to encourage certain powers that be to accept our Bolt 52 and reinstate us on the board. You really think so? I admit I've been hatching this scheme for quite some time. If someone is operating here, then Catherine's almost certainly supplying them out of Fallbrook. Perhaps she could be convinced to tell you where they are. Already? If only the rest of the colony operated as efficiently as you. Imagine what a different state we'd be in, hmm? I'll complete the Bolt 52 in no time.
You're getting ahead of you.
So I am. That's just I'm working on a plan to reorganize the board. Slowly.
What's gonna happen to the people here when the board figures out what you're...
Well, by that point, my hope is that we'll be...
I'm just... Maybe I'm worrying too much, but it seems the folks here get plans made for them an awful lot. When do they get...
Once MSI is restored, the people of Monarch will be able to make more choices. We'll have all the brands and resources of the board here. But truly, I am getting ahead of myself. I knew there was something going on. This is exactly the proof we need. The board will have to welcome us back now. I'll transmit this data along with the completed Bolt 52 right away. After that, we'll sit back and quietly wait for the board to respond.
That means no more broadcasts from us.
You weren't supposed to look. Oh, yes. This has been my albatross. I give MSI everything. In charge of a scrap heap of a city. Abandoned by the board and surviving only through the hypocrisy of our trading partners. I hadn't thought of it that way. Thank you for that.
Hey.
Who wants to play an impromptu tossball match?
You look like a woman who's looking for some I don't know. Celia usually buys whatever I have, and Mr. Pickett seemed real interested. So I thought maybe...
Mr. Pickett? Franklin Pickett from Edgewater?
That's him. He'd been here years, but he always talked about going back to Edgewater one day.
Sure. Mr. Pickett used to run the community center outside Edgewater. He had this grand idea to make it a museum for halcyon life. As my dad told it, Mr. Pickett was always going on about getting a manta queen for the last display. He left the Vale, gosh, years ago.
He came to Stellar Bay years ago, just before the board cut us off. Ended up stuck here. He was always real interested in our monsters. Mantiqueens, especially. Sure, they're real big. Hard to miss them. Well, I could send you to the same place I sent Mr. Pickett. But I haven't seen him in a few weeks. To tell true, I'm starting to get a bit worried about him.
Captain, can we look for him? I'd feel awful if somebody from home was in trouble and we didn't do...
Tell you what, I'll tell you where I sent Mr. Pickett if you promise to look for him. Help him out. All right then. Leave town through the southern gate, the one right here, and head past the abandoned ruins. Last Mantiqueen I saw was in the wilds out that-a-ways. Could be Mr. Pickett still out there, too. Yeah, you find him yet? I sent him past the ruins just south of town.
In our way. I find the law, we are unstoppable.
You look like a woman who's looking for some mostly fresh animal parts. He'll probably be wanting it back. That's pretty sad. He sure seemed like he knew what he was doing.
He used to tell the kids crazy stories about halcyon wildlife. Later I learned most of it was wrong, but it was the thought that counted. Then one day he just disappeared. Never heard anything about him again.
So this journal is all he left behind? Seems like I ought to read it. Looks mighty long, though. I bet she'll like that.
It'd be nice for there to be some good come out of this.
In any case, I appreciate you tracking down Mr. Pickett for me. Here's some bit. You look like a woman who's looking for... You look like...
No one saw me trip over that, right?
Go take a walk, Captain. I'll find you once my head's on straight.
Hey, Cass. Knock, knock.
You'd think folks were pissing in the alleyways as bad as it stinks.
What do you want? Oh, hey, Vicar Max. What are you doing on Monarch? I thought scienticians ain't welcome.
Haven't you heard? Everyone's welcome here. It's a fucking worker's paradise. But you would never worked a day in your miserable life. You're just a parasite, living off my goodwill. Well, guess what? My goodwill's exhausted, along with my temper. This is the guy who told me about the book while we were in prison. I lied about finding a scholar. But I don't care about any of that anymore. I just want to inflict massive amounts of pain on this guy. Yes, that's about the long and short of it. Now, where were we? Oh, that's right. I was about to be...
Wait! I know who can...
It's too late for that. I threw away my life chasing fairy tales. Will punishing you fix any of that? Of course not. But by law, it will make me feel a whole lot better.
It was stolen from some sort of expert on philosophism. Weird hermit lady on Scylla. My father used to deliver supplies to the mining outpost there. It's true! My father collected some extra bits on the side by diverting some of the supplies to the gal. The way he told it, he thought the book looked valuable, so he took it. Couldn't find any buyers when it turned out to not only be French, but banned as well.
Fine.
Hey, I just want to thank you for saving my... Exaggeration? Has the vicar told you what he did to Old Lamp? He's still eating through a tube, last I heard.
Look, what I may or may not have done to some degenerate during a prison brawl is old news. I'd rather not discuss it. Captain, I was hoping for a word. I want to thank you for talking some sense into me back there with Cheney. It has been a long time since I gave in to my violent enthusiasm. You're right. I owe you an apology. I've been so obsessed for so long, I couldn't see anything else. You offered, and even then, you saved me from myself. You owe me nothing, I know, but I'm begging your forgiveness. Thank you. I promise I'll be nothing... Oh, exactly as you'd imagine. Can't say I enjoyed the stint. The way I see it, the universe was snapping me back to where I needed to be. You stray too far from the course of your destiny. The world...
Do you hear that? It's the blessed sound of radio silence. Yes, indeed. I am... But before we get down to it, might I ask how...
I'd say fairly...
I don't know how. The two are diametrically opposed and impossible to please. But it matters not how you fixed my problem, only that you did. I don't doubt that you are working with Phineas, but my contract specifies I relay any acquired information to the purchaser, and to the purchaser alone. However, to send the data, I will need your assistance in cycling the antenna's receiver, so I can input the needed adjustments. You make it sound so... Phineas has been in hiding for the past 35 years. He got in touch with Nyoka first, who I... Oh, don't be ridiculous. We're resetting a broadcast tower, not It's simple, truly. I merely need you to waltz outside and throw the lever to cycle the power. I'll key in the numerical adjustment. Terrific. I'll be here. Waiting.
Testing 1, 2, check, check. Sweet stars. But that is a beautiful sound. Can you hear me? We are a go for broadcast. Oh, and I also dispatched Phineas his data. Impatient prick. Worse, I'm now indebted to him for it. Now I'll kindly thank you to get out of my tower. Look, I am well aware that at times I may have the tiniest iota of a prickly exterior. But I must admit I have grown rather fond of you. Take care now.
What in the... Captain, there's a fireball in the sky.
Black holes. Did you see that? Looks like a UDL ship. Based on the gunnery attachments, I guess it's one of the board's blockade enforcers, but don't cite me on that. Oh well, a pity for the crew, but I can't see how it affects me.
Hiram? Can you hear me? Did you see that?
Architect, save me from swindlers and fools. Sanjar, what are you bloody doing on my channel? Did MSI or did MSI not cease broadcasting?
Yes, but... Hiram, are you there? Ah, the good captain. The truth brings us together once more. Our salvation has come crashing through the stratosphere. We need only collect its weapons. Are you mad? That's a UDL gunship. You'd probably shoot your own toes off.
Ah, I see you learned nothing while dealing with these buffoons.
We could use the gunship's armaments to defend Stellar Bay, but we need its targeting module. Our message is so close to breaking free of this planet and spreading to the stars. Help us secure that module and we will save our colony.
Listen, I don't care a single whit what you do, so long as you leave me out of it. Which means, get off my bored damn channel. I'm more than finished with you lot.
Go take a walk, Captain. I'll find you once my head's on straight.